Hello guys, welcome to 2022 and welcome to my channel, Blob on a Bike. Today I will be revealing what I'll be up to this year throughout 2022, and hopefully you'll stick along with me. So let's get to it. Last year my aim was to lose some more weight, and well, that wasn't really my challenge last year. My challenge was to hit 2,000 miles. Unfortunately I was hit with a lot of injury last year, which kept me off the bike for probably 2 months, 2.5 months throughout the year. So unfortunately I didn't hit my mileage target. I still did 1,500 miles there or thereabouts, which is not too bad, but it's not what I wanted. So I am here to make amends this year. So what am I up to this year? You can see I've got my 2 bikes here, which I'll be using this year to hit my challenge target, which will be to get my weight down to 95 kilos. Now I don't know how much I weigh right now because obviously just come back after Christmas. I haven't weighed myself, so once I finish this I will go back to my unit and jump on the scales and let you see how bad it is, but I reckon it's going to be about 115 kilos. Christmas was not kind to my waistline. Yeah, I'll be doing that. And how will I be doing it this year? Well, as you can see, I've got my trusty bikes here, my ancient Santa Cruz Bronson, which is 2014 model, old but still a good bike, and I love that bike to bits, and that's great for my off-roadness. And I also have a Decathlon Speed 500 single speed bicycle here, which basically I'll just ride down to the post office and back. It's hard work being a single speed, but hopefully that will build me up some nice leg muscles for my trail centres, which I'm hoping to hit later on in the year, and quite soon actually, when the weather improves somewhat, when the wind goes basically. So that is it, and so I hope you will join me on this journey. You can follow me here, so please do subscribe to the channel. There'll be a little button down here somewhere for you to press that just to do so. You can also follow me on Facebook on the Blob on a Bike page, on Instagram at Blob on a Bike, and also this year I have, hang on, I've got a little list here. Facebook group, yes, join my Facebook group, Cycling for Weight Loss. I'll put a little link in the description along with all the other social medias and all that kind of thing, and also on Strava there'll be a link down there. You can follow me, my progress this year, to see how we're doing. Instagram I've covered, and also if you're doing the same sort of thing as me, jumping on your bike to lose a little bit of weight, it's very important to make sure that you do it safely. So I have started a new cycle safety brand selling reflective bicycle stickers, VeloViz, and for anyone who's watching this, you can save 25% throughout the year by using code BLOBSQUAD. Again, there'll be a link and info in the description down below. But anyway, for now I'm off to go and do a weigh-in and see how bad that is and see what I'm going to, but I'm coming for you, 95 kilos. Okay, so here we are back at my unit, and I'm just about to do a little weigh-in. Now I haven't weighed myself throughout December last year, so I've got no idea how much I weighed. I think I weighed about 109 kilos or something like that at the end when I last measured myself. It's bound to have gone up since then, having been Christmas, and plenty of mince pies went inside here. Anyway, so let's get on with it. I reckon it's going to be about 215 kilos, hopefully somewhere about that, and let's just get on with it and see where we're at today. Okay, gotta say, not really looking forward to this at all. It's probably not going to paint a pretty picture, but it is what it is, and at least I will get to see what my starting point is and see how much work I've got to do to hit 95 kilos. Let's get on with it. In fact, I'm going to get my phone and record it, because I've got a little app for that. Well, rather handily, when I've turned my phone on and gone onto my weight measurement app, it's told me that my last measurement was 111.8 kilos towards the end of November last year. So it'd be interesting to see how much it is today. Like I say, aiming for about 115 or thereabouts. So let's really just get on with it and see what is happening. Okay, that is telling me, it's not telling me anything because some stupid thing has popped up on here. So it's telling me it's much different from last time. Cheers for that. Yes, 116.5 kilos. Yeah, 116.5 kilos isn't great, but it is quite close to my 115 kilos, which I imagined it would be. Which actually I don't think is that bad, considering it was 111 at the end of 111.8, I think it was, at the end of November. So I've only put on about 5 something kilos, but it does mean, of course, I need to bin off 21.5 kilos, which is quite a lot. It's about 40. It's over 40 pounds. Yeah, that's quite a lot. But I'm game, and hopefully you'll join me. So anyway, that is it for today. I would like to also point out that I've not been really surfing for the last couple of years, but I do intend to introduce that back into my exercise routine, and get a few miles on my surfboard as well. Being imbued here in Cornwall, we've got some brilliant waves and some fantastic beaches, so I would like to get back on my surfboard this year properly. Yeah, I would also like to say, having done my previous weigh-ins every week for the last couple of years, it does become a little bit of a bind, and it does also mean, because I do it consistently at the same time on a Friday morning, if I've got the opportunity to go somewhere on a Friday morning, I can't, because I've got to do my weigh-in, which is all the stuff there. So anyway, what I would do is I will continue to weigh myself until I hit 95 kilos, and then I'll just suck it off. And my intention is to, by the end of next year, get down to 85 kilos, because I think that would be a good weight for me to stick at and try and maintain. So that is it, 95 kilos. I've got my eyes set on you, and I'm going to do it this year. Okay, so this is Thursday morning, and if you are a new viewer, welcome, by the way. Thought I'd give you a little bit of an insight into what goes on with my cycling for a general week. Now I do most of my cycling during the day, actually midweek, so Monday to Friday. I'm self-employed, I work alone, and I ride my bicycle to the post office, and that's where this single speed comes in. Now, when the weather's a bit nicer and it's not windy so much, and got a bit more time generally in the summer, because that's my quiet period, then I bust out the Bronson and head to a local trail centre like Old Hill Bike Park, Howden Forest, and there's a bunch more I'm hoping to explore this year. So initially you'll probably see a bit of this old single speed malarkey, just riding along the canal path to the post office, trying to burn a few calories, but as things move on, I will be busting out the Bronson as and when I can, because I much prefer riding that bad boy. But for today, it is a rainy old day here in Devon, Cornwall actually, I'm in Cornwall, Bude in Cornwall. It is actually snowing further east, so it is a cold one today. So I've got the full regalia on for me wet weather riding, and yeah, it's not raining too much, so hopefully I don't get too soaked, because I don't want to be cold at work later. Also worth mentioning, there are a couple of challenges I do face with regards to my cycling. One, I am quite a big lad, so I'm more prone to injury, as was evident last year. I was off my bike for 2.5 months, I think, last year, because of injuries with my foot and my knee. I had a crash and stuff. So that doesn't help. The other thing is, because I'm a self-employed printer, I can't have introduced humidity into my unit, because it's quite humid as it is, unfortunately, despite having an industrial dehumidifier. So humidity is not good in my line of work, so putting back loads of wet cycling gear into my unit is not good, and I can't be having that. So if it's wet out and the humidity is high anyway, then I'm just going to have to sack it off in favour of probably driving down the post office. But if it is doable, I shall be riding, because it's much more enjoyable than sitting in traffic, which I don't have to do on this. And I am aware that I do look like Donkey Kong when I'm riding this bike. I think it's because the handlebars are so narrow and I'm a bit like that, you know. Anyway, let's get to this post office, shall we? That way. So it's almost as if the Victorians in this part of the world forgot to fit some drains and stuff when they were doing the rest of the country. So as soon as we get a little bit of rain, this is what we're met with. It just floods everywhere. So I often get wet feet, which I can't do much about. Not so bad today, but I'd kind of forgotten how bad it gets, but it does get much worse than that, which I'm sure you'll see if you stick around. Don't know if you can still see it, but good news, I have seen someone with more neon than me today. So give you an idea of the sort of riding to expect. The ride to my local post office is mainly flat, apart from the first bit down the hill. Then I've got a long flat alongside the old railway and the Bude canal system over there. which is nice because you can get there quite quick on this flat bit, but it does get a bit boring after 200 times. It has to be said. But there's always a load of dog walkers with their dogs that are out of control to you know, liven it up a little bit. So you always have to have your wits about you, despite it being a cycleway. Anyway, so quite a lot of this. And then when I get into Bude town itself, I've got a big long hard slog up Bellevue Hill, I think it's called, which is hard work, particularly on a single speed, but we do manage it. On it. Oh, well behaved dog. Right, this is the Strand in Bude, with a nice little river running alongside it. And just out of view is Bellevue Road, or Bellevue Hill, I'm not quite sure what it's called. You can just see it up there. It's horrible, so you're going to be in pocket, I need both hands. Post office done. Now we'll get to ride back down the hill. Right, it's quite good fun whizzing down that hill out of the town, but unfortunately I can only do that on my mountain bike because that's actually got brakes. This what's this says that it's got brakes. They are cantilever brakes and they are absolutely appalling, but it was about £200 this bike, so I can't really complain. Just have to put up with it for now. So back onto the canal, let's get back. Should get about 6.5 miles today. Rain is really starting to pick up now. Unfortunately we get a lot of rain down here in the West Country, and unfortunately because the wind comes straight off the Atlantic, it's often windier here than it is other, you know, even a half an hour inland. So I do have to put up with a lot of riding into the wind, but it burns more calories I guess, apart from when it's blowing me along and giving me a helping hand. So long time viewers of mine will know that I'm very interactive and I always reply to your comments. So as it's the start of the year, I'd love to know what your cycling goals are for this year. So leave a comment below and let me know. Now unfortunately, as I mentioned previously, when I start this little journey down the post office, it's downhill, which is quite nice. Make a bit of progress early on, but unfortunately the last bit is an uphill drag and it's on a big main road with nutcases. So I hope they see me today, but it's hard work. Luckily I've got a bit of a tailwind today, but it's still going to be hard work on a single speed slogging up there, and this is just the start of it. Let's go. This hill does go on a bit. I think I do prefer the short, sharper climb actually in Bude than this longer, shallower one. It just goes on a bit, but it does burn some calories, which is what we need. Oh, that was a long buster, that one. It's probably been about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks since I've ridden up there. I generally don't get to ride my bike during the week in December because it's my busiest month at work. Just too busy and too much mail to carry. So yeah, my lungs are definitely feeling it, but the more I do it, the easier it'll get and the less it will burn. Nearly back. Oh, I'm struggling to breathe now. Okay, so there we have it. That is today's ride done and dusted, and that's fairly typical of a little post office trip for me. 6.46 miles, which is not too bad, and it does actually mount up throughout the course of a year. So that's a good start for this year, and that was my first little trip to the post office by bicycle this year. So yeah, all good. Whilst I've got you here, I thought I would just give you a little bit of an insight into what I normally have for my my meals, basically, because whilst I'm doing this cycling to lose weight, I'm not a big dieter. If I'm hungry, I have to eat something. There's no two ways about it, okay? I know it sounds naff, but that's just the way it is, I'm afraid. So I tend to lose my weight through exercise, but I do find that when I'm exercising, I actually eat much better because I like to see the results from the exercise, if that makes sense. So I have a little bit of a lull with my eating if I have injuries and all that kind of thing, if I'm not on the bike. And as I found throughout December when I wasn't really on my bike just because I'm too busy at work, it's quite easy just to sit here and nibble a couple of mince pies. Anyway, so as a matter of course, I don't eat sort of diet food as such. I just restrict what bad stuff I do eat. So a general day for my lunch, I would have a jam sandwich. That's a triple sandwich really. So I've got 3 slices of bread. So that keeps me going throughout the day. It's quite often a long day here for me. I get up early, a packet of crisps, nothing special. Sometimes like fancy fat-free crisps or whatever, but generally whatever's on offer. Anyway, and this brings me on to my little snack which I'll have here. Normally this would be like a Kit Kat or a Penguin or some sort of muesli bar or something similar to that, just to have a little snack after my lunch there. Today actually my wife made some flapjack yesterday, so I've got a bit of flapjack there, but my wife does like to do a bit of home baking, so I am a guinea pig for that, which probably doesn't help somewhat, but it's delicious, so I don't really care. So today a bit of flapjack, but that would normally be just like a biscuit bar or something like that, something small, and that generally will take me until dinner time. Now, of course, for my breakfast, I generally just have, you know, I normally have 4 Weetabix. Does that sound bad? But they're only tiny, aren't they, these days? It's like fun-sized Weetabix. So I have 4 Weetabix. That keeps me going till lunch. And then dinner time, whatever is cooked for me. I'm very lucky. My wife cooks some marvellous meals, and I do enjoy those. So I eat whatever's put in front of me. Which generally my wife likes to keep fit as well, so generally it's not too bad for me, which is good. So anyway, a little bit of an insight there. There's no rabbit food here unfortunately, because that's not my style, but I'll just watch what bad stuff I'm eating really. Anyway, it is 11 o'clock and that's when I have my lunch, so that's what I'm going to do. See you tomorrow. Okay guys, so that is it. It's the end of this week, and I've got a slight change of tack this year. Normally what I would do is I'd do my weigh-in at 11 o'clock on a Friday, just before I have my lunch. And basically, as the weather got better, that started getting a little bit annoying, because if I got into work early and was finished by 9 o'clock, I could have had the whole day to go out on my bike riding, but I had to stick around here because all my gear is here for weighing myself and all that kind of stuff. And it just ate into some riding time, which we can't be having, can we? So now I will be doing it a Friday morning as soon as I get to work. So keep it consistent all the time at the same time of day, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, my weight when I weighed myself, I think on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, was 116.5 kilos, which was rubbish, but we have just had Christmas, so I can be forgiven, I guess. Anyway, so I'm hoping to beat 116.5. I've been eating much better this week than I have for the last 4 or 5 weeks, that's for sure. And I've been getting a little bit of exercise. I haven't set myself a mileage target this year, but I would actually like to hit the 2,000 miles that I was meant to hit last year, but didn't due to injury and such like. So I've got an unofficial target of 2,000 miles for this year. So this year so far I've done 16.1 miles, which you won't have seen most of that because I had a little ride with the family at the weekend before I did my first weigh-in. And it was just actually quite nice to go out without having a camera for a change. But every other ride will now be videoed. So anyway, that is it. Let's get on with this. Hoping to beat 116.5. Right then, 116.5 to beat. Let's hope it's not worse than that, and hopefully we can see a little bit of a loss at least. Well, 116.1 kilos, which is not too bad, given it in the last couple of days. I've done enough exercise and enough good eating to constitute a weight loss of 400 grams, which is about £1 actually, so it's not so bad. So I'm pleased about that. It's a good step in the right direction. I'm hoping to build upon that next week and dig into that a little bit more and get down towards my 95. That would be great. Getting under 100 kilos for me would be absolutely immense. I actually did get quite close. I got 105 last year, but it wasn't to be. But anyway, this year is the year I'm doing it, so do stick with me. A couple of things, what's going on this week. I probably mentioned that I'm getting a new bicycle helmet because my other one started smelling a bit like cheese. Anyway, when going through some stuff yesterday, I found a spare head sponge thing for it. So I've given it a nice clean in there. It no longer stinks of cheese, so that's given this helmet a new lease of life, and that will stay at work, so I've always got a trail helmet at work. And brings me on to my other new piece. I've decided to invest in a new helmet to replace that one. This is a Bell Super Downhill spherical MIPS helmet, which is a convertible helmet. The chin guard comes off, so perfect for trail riding and also for bike park days and that kind of thing. So I'm very much looking forward to testing that one out. So a trip to Old Hill Bike Park will be imminent when time and the weather all come together to allow that. So that will be soon, very hopefully. But that is that. Thank you very much for getting this far into this guff. If you are on a similar kind of journey to me this year, you know, please do subscribe and keep in contact and let me know how you're getting on each week. I always like to hear your stories of how things are going and what you've been up to, and I will always reply to your messages. So if you haven't already, hit the button and do a subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to tell your friends. I will see you next week for some more biking.
Light it up and we smoke. Keep me high.